Let's talk about the stock of the day. Amber Enterprises, the stock has soared nearly 17%, and it's all on the back of that Jefferies note. Puneet is joining us, now 15%, so off its highs. Puneet is joining us with details on what Jefferies is excited about. But Puneet, beyond what Jefferies is saying, what is really working for Amber right now?
Well, thanks for that. So let's start with the Jefferies note. They had a target of roughly 5,200, which was a 19% upside from the previous close, but that all was hit in the intraday session today itself. They have mentioned about, the company as well as the penetration of the AC market. So let's start with what they are bullish on. They say quarter one for the domestic AC industry was very strong, and that was benefiting Amber Enterprises as well, who supplies to makers such as Havells and other players who are in the domestic AC market. Apart from that, imposition of anti-dumping duty specifically on PCBs or printed circuit boards which are used in these products was also another key positive for the company, which helped it get orders from the local players within India itself. They have also said that they have a strong order book, roughly about 2,000 odd crores in mobility division, and that augurs well for revenue growth as well as guidance for the next few years with strong visibility. And they mentioned that the company's expectation of growth for this year is roughly around 45% compared to last year on a very high base as well. They are expecting normalized capex in FY25 roughly about 370 to 400 odd crores, and that will augur well for its return on capital employed or ROCE metric to come in at roughly about 20% by FY26. Stock, according to them, is trading at roughly around 37 times price to earnings 2 years forward. But I also, as you rightly said, want to look at some other metrics that work for the company and some others that aren't. On industry data, it's very interesting what Jefferies says. Currently, around 1 crore ACs was sold in the last year in FY24. That's expected to triple to roughly about 3 crores by FY30, and that will, of course, benefit someone like an Amber Enterprises. They are also expecting roughly about 17% growth CAGR on the industry, and that will benefit Amber as mentioned. Now, in Q1 specifically, the consumer division, which includes the ACs, grew roughly around 44%. But what's also heartening is the 45% growth in electronics, basically the printed circuit boards, which goes into these products. So that's another heartening factor, that there is a second division that's been created now. Apart from that, railway subsystem, while smaller, currently around 100 crores of revenue. And when you look at the margins as well, the consumer division, generally for all EMS players, the revenue grew, but the margins don't. But for Amber, the slide was very contained at just 20 basis points for this quarter, and they've expected the next 3 quarters will be better for margins of consumer division. Also see the electronic division margins growth roughly around 360 basis points. That's also another strong thing. And railways, which is a new division, roughly around 1/3 of the electronic division, but the margins are upwards of 20%, and they're increasing their products also in that. So that's what I'm very positive on. What to look forward to is another key thing which we should talk about. Backward integration within AC, which is making components. The second thing is a new joint venture they formed for the railway division. They will be, entering the Vande Bharat space specifically over the next 6 to 12 months. That's another key factor to look at through this joint venture.
Okay.
And finally, on valuations, currently at 100 times price to earnings for FY24, and going forward the next 2 years, revenues are expected to double, and they've already doubled from FY21 levels. So that's another thing. The base now is roughly quite high compared to what FY21 levels were, but still, the expectations is very high from Amber at a very high valuation right now.
Okay, so valuations are high, but so are expectations. Jeffrey is excited about it. Stock is up today. Himen Kapadia with us. Himen, what are you doing with Amber right now if you hold it?
Well, that's a dicey one, Tamanna, but we are in an uptrend, a very constructive uptrend on all time frame. But yeah, if a stock moves like this in one single day, I'd say stay away a bit, wait for sanity to prevail. I believe 4,600, 4,700 is the congestion area. I think I would be more comfortable doing something over there. Currently, it's not, obviously it's not FNO. There's no short, there's no long at this level, Tamanna.
All right, Amber Enterprises also in action.